There are times we all feel under enormous pressure, like when you have a million deadlines and not enough hours in the day, or when the kids need to be taken to football practice and you haven't cooked the dinner, or when you're studying for exams, or when a friend or relative becomes ill. We can also go through traumatic events that knock us sideways. At times like these, we can start to feel overwhelmed or unable to cope. That feeling is often called stress. Stress has been a part of life for thousands of years, and a certain amount of stress can be a good thing. But when stress gets out of control, the consequences can be serious. Stress can be a key cause of anxiety and depression, and is sometimes linked to self-harm and suicide. It can also have serious physical impacts. Stress can increase the risk of heart disease. It can affect our ability to get to sleep and stay asleep. It is linked to muscle pain and can damage our immune system. We know we are too stressed too often. Our polling has shown that over the past year in Britain, almost 3/4 of people have at some point felt so stressed they felt overwhelmed or unable to cope. 2/3 of us experience a mental health problem in our lifetime. But it doesn't have to be this way. By tackling stress, we lower the risk of future mental health problems. But how can we do this? We can start with you and me. Try to think through what is causing your stress and how it could be managed differently. It may help to get a bit more physical exercise. Going for that walk or swim helps balance life. Exercise is a proven way to reduce stress. You could try reducing drinking and smoking, which can make problems worse rather than better. Take a break. Even short breaks from work or a person you find difficult can help manage the stresses and strains of daily life. Try a few minutes of mindfulness each day. We know from research that mindfulness is effective in reducing stress and anxiety. But we can also do things as a society. We're calling for businesses to support better work-life balance and tackle work-related stress. We're calling for schools and teachers to work with children to ensure that stress isn't stopping young people from thriving. And we're calling for better support for society's most vulnerable, to reduce the stresses caused by poverty, poor housing, and social isolation. See how stress is affecting your life. Take a stress test now at mentalhealth.org.uk/stress.
Stress is part and parcel of living in modern society these days, and it can really play havoc with our health. Because when you're under stress, all roads lead to the refrigerator. When you're under stress, you light up cigarettes. When you're under stress, you don't exercise. And so we need to figure out what to do about stress. There are 3 things that I would suggest to you that will help you manage stress. The first is exercise, exercise, exercise. When you exercise on a daily basis, your brain produces endorphins that make you feel like you are more in control. And a lot of us are stressed because we think our lives are out of control. This really helps. Number 2, have a sense of perspective. It's not the event that causes stress, it's the way we look at the event that causes stress. And so if you look at it positively, then you are able to help manage your stress more successfully. And number 3, understand what your fundamental goals and values are and ask the question, am I living in concert with these goals and values? There's a simple and easy little test that we can take to see where you are with your goals and values. It's called the epitaph test, and it goes like this. If you were to die today based on the way you're living today, what goes on the stone? I did this in a seminar and I had this male voice from the back of the room say, "This isn't going so well." And I said, "What's the problem?" And he said, if I died today, we'd have to put on the tombstone, "Here lies the best widget salesman in the 11 Western states." And I said, "Well, what would you prefer?" He said, "Well, I'd much rather have been known as a wonderful husband and a terrific father, but I'm traveling all the time and I never get to see my family." It was a considerable source of stress for him. I saw him a year later. "How are you doing?" I asked. He said, "I'm the best widget salesman in 4 Western states." He said, "I've cut down my territory. I'm still very productive." But he said, "Now I coach my children's baseball team. I'm home enough to be a full partner to my wife. He said, if I died today, husband and father goes on the stone. So stress is part and parcel of living in modern society, but we don't have to accept it. We can learn how to manage that stress effectively with exercise, with perspective, and with paying attention to goals and values.